Imagination is not only the beginning of empires, it is also their sustainer. What is born in vision must be fed by vision, or else it withers into routine and stagnation. This is why many people begin projects with enthusiasm but lose momentum when obstacles arise. They forget to return to the inner picture that gave birth to their journey. The book reminds us that when setbacks come, and they always will, the answer is not to abandon the dream but to reimagine it with even greater clarity. To see, once again, why you began and what lies ahead if you endure. This truth becomes clear when we study the lives of those who built enduring legacies. Think of leaders who carried nations through times of hardship. They were not free from doubt, but they kept their minds anchored to an inner image of what was possible. Winston Churchill, for instance, during the darkest days of war, chose to speak words of vision rather than despair. He imagined victory when the world saw only defeat. His speeches were not just rhetoric, they were tools of imagination, planting pictures of resilience in the minds of his people. That inner image became a shared empire of determination that carried a nation through. The book explains that imagination is not passive, it is a living force that seeks expression through action. Too many people wait for perfect conditions before moving forward. They believe that they need more money, more knowledge, more approval before beginning. But the truth revealed here is that conditions rarely become perfect on their own. It is action, inspired by imagination, that reshapes conditions. The Wright brothers did not wait for society to approve of flying machines, they tested, failed, and tried again until flight became reality. Every great empire was built not by waiting for certainty, but by moving forward in faith. At the same time, imagination requires humility. We may see a vision, but its unfolding often surprises us. The empire imagined does not always appear in the form we expect. Sometimes, the outcome is smaller in scale but greater in depth. A person may dream of wealth and instead receive influence. Another may dream of fame and instead find the joy of touching lives quietly but profoundly. The book teaches that imagination must be surrendered to the wisdom of life itself. We hold the vision firmly, yet we remain open to how it manifests, trusting that the deeper purpose will always serve us and those around us. Another insight woven throughout the book is the power of collective imagination. While individual vision is powerful, collective vision can transform the course of history. Communities, organizations, and nations thrive when they share an imagined future. Consider the founding of new countries, where groups of people collectively envision freedom, justice, or prosperity, even before these things exist. The United States, for example, was born not of immediate reality but of shared imagination, an image of liberty and democracy that guided its creation. The book invites us to see ourselves not only as individuals with visions, but also as contributors to the larger dreams of humanity. On a personal level, this means aligning with communities that nurture imagination. Too often, dreams die in the company of those who cannot see them. If the people around you continually remind you of limitations, it becomes harder to sustain your vision. But when you surround yourself with others who also dare to imagine, your dream grows stronger. The author urges us to choose our environment wisely, to seek out mentors, peers, and companions who remind us of what is possible. Just as fire burns brighter when logs are placed together, imagination thrives when shared. The book also addresses the inner resistance that often silences imagination. Doubt, fear, and comparison are enemies of vision. Doubt whispers, "Who are you to dream so big?" Fear says, "What if you fail?" Comparison adds, "Others are ahead of you, why even try?" These voices are powerful, but the book teaches that they are not truth, they are illusions born of insecurity. The antidote is to return to the inner image with courage. When you imagine yourself succeeding, growing, or serving others, you are not inventing fantasy, you are aligning with the potential already within you. The empire exists in seed form inside you, waiting for your faith to give it life. One of the most beautiful themes in the book is the legacy of imagination. The empires we build do not end with us, they ripple forward into future generations. Parents imagine better lives for their children, and in that vision, they plant seeds that bloom long after they are gone. Teachers imagine futures for their students and often never see the full harvest of their influence. Leaders imagine societies that may take decades or centuries to unfold. This perspective lifts us beyond short-term thinking. It reminds us that our visions matter, even if their full expression comes after our time. Ultimately, how imagination builds empires challenges us to live with intentional vision. Life will pass, whether we imagine or not. Time will move, whether we dream or not. The question is whether we will drift along, building empires of routine and regret, or whether we will consciously construct empires of meaning, hope, and transformation. The book does not flatter the reader with promises of instant success. Instead, it offers something far greater, the assurance that by nurturing imagination with persistence and love, each of us can contribute to something that endures. In the end, the message is simple yet profound: dare to imagine. Dare to hold an inner picture so strong that it carries you through obstacles. Dare to act, even when conditions seem impossible. Dare to build, not only for yourself but for those who will walk the path after you. For in imagination lies the beginning of every empire, an empire of light, of hope, of vision, and the invitation is open to us all.